And Rachel delivers. Again, always another inspirational and heart-opening song. I need a little piece of tape, but I didn't bring any. Aw. So y'all see my cute little kitty in the heart. Any kitty people in here?
Yes.
Yeah. I have two. Meow, right? I'll just set little kitty right here for now. Any doggy people in here? Woof, woof. I have also my Snoopy flag that I brought along. Who doesn't love Snoopy, right? What a cute little guy. I'm just immersing myself in love these days. And that's what we're all about today. We are talking about centering yourself in love. And there it is. Maybe you think, I'm always centered in love. Well, if you are, yay. Me, I can fall off center from time to time. So I made myself a handy dandy love viewfinder, right? I decorated it, I put hearts all over it, and when I am feeling stressed or tense or a little triggered by some of the news that sometimes slips through the cracks into my awareness, I can focus on love. I can shift my focus back. Oh, there's Megan. Oh, there's Russ. I can center my vision and my perspective on love. Sometimes we need to narrow our focus, right? And really tune in to what's true, what is divine in nature. And that is our task for today. It's a lot of work to stay spiritually centered. And it doesn't always come easy. Fortunately, I have two grandkids that help me stay really centered in loving energy. One of my grandkids, Axel, turned 6 on February 13th. And we had lots of reasons to celebrate. And for me, it's been a real reawakening to the depth of love, unconditional love that I feel for he and his 4-year-old sister. So we are going to dive in and talk about love extensively today. And I'm going to weave a little bit about prayer in as well, because I led a new member orientation class this morning, and we talked about the power of prayer. And the two are so intertwined, a focus on love and a focus on prayer. Well, Rachel took me back. She took me back to graduate school in the 70s. And I heavily relied on both Carole King and James Taylor to get me through some of those rocky moments where I was feeling not so centered in love. And I knew nothing about unity at that point in my life, but music was part of my healing, part of my comfort, part of my peace, part of creating that vibration that I wanted to experience. There is another person that is a renowned musician that I want to share his wisdom with you. His name is Jimi Hendrix. Any Jimi Hendrix fans in here? And Jimmy said this: when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Well, we're not there yet. Jimmy's wisdom prevails, and we still have more love energy to grow and expand and experience. So what could we do? What could you do to amplify your love energy? And then how do you ensure that you yourself are a recipient of those loving intentions too? Because some people are pretty good at sharing love out there, but when it comes to showering ourselves with those loving intentions, it's not quite so comfortable. So we're going to really lean into this. So how you can magnify those love sparks and keep them going, like kind of like that perpetual fountain of love. How you can appreciate all the love that you bring to life. I mean, I know people tell Rachel all the time, "Oh, that was fantastic. Oh, I love your rendition of that song. Oh, you just touched my heart." But we don't all get that kind of acknowledgement and appreciation. Probably some of my greatest appreciation comes from my grandkids, as well as my cats, I would say. But, you know, I'm interpreting their messages to me, probably not always completely accurately. And then we want to deepen those love roots. You know, when we talk about new growth, new plants, new trees, we're advised by the landscape experts to water deeply and let the roots grow down, and so that they are more firmly rooted, they're more stable, they're more likely to survive the winds of change or the harsh conditions. We need to grow our roots more deeply too. So the power of love, really, this idea came back to me that Reverend Doug shared with us about the compass. Do y'all remember his compass metaphor? And I still have my compass. But if love is our compass, if that's our guiding energy, then we're always going to be on the right and perfect path for us. So we can't talk about the spiritual power of love without bringing in our Unity co-founder, Charles Fillmore. And Charles said this: love is the attractive force that draws our good to us according to the depth and strength of our realization of love. So there's that idea again, that there needs to be a cultivation of depth and strength of love for us to sustain through some of the more challenging times. And for me, 2025 has been filled with highlight moments, fabulous experiences. I've already celebrated a birthday. You all gave me a birthday card and a plant for my birthday. I mean, I have been showered with a lot of love. And 2025 has also felt like a very bumpy road, a very arduous path that I am navigating. Fortunately, Russ and I, this time last week, we were not in Texas. We were in Orlando, Florida, for a brief little respite. I took the time, 2 different days, to drive over to the ocean. Because for me, the ocean is such a reminder of the ebb and the flow of life. My dad used to give me this little lesson. He'd say, when I'd call him and I'd be distraught about something, my mom, if she answered the phone, she'd say, "Mitch, it's your daughter." She didn't want to talk to me when I was distraught. She handed the phone right over to him. Back in the day when there was one phone, right, that everybody used. And he would say, "Nan, remember the ebb and the flow. It's an ebb and a flow." So that's what the ocean reminds me, that things come in and they go out. There's no doubting that it's going to change. We watched high tide come all the way in. Sometimes it almost knocked me over when I got too far in the water. With street clothes on, I wasn't prepared to swim in the water temperature, but it reminded me of that flow of life. But the power of love really in its core is the ability to feel and know your oneness with all creation. To feel it and to know it and to claim it. I am one with all creation. We may be able to rattle off the affirmations when we are hearing the daily word, and it at times can seem, really? I'm claiming this? Whew, that's a stretch. But we continue to incorporate affirmations and affirmative prayer into our life because it doesn't change the outside circumstances. It doesn't change whatever you're struggling with, whether it's something in the political realm, whether it's something in the environmental realm, whether it's something in the financial realm, whether it's something in the healthcare industry, whether it's your relationships with a family member, or maybe it's people you don't even know that well. Maybe it's people that live near you. But when we tune in and know the power of our love energy, we change. That's the gift of prayer. We change. And during our class this morning, we walked through the unity affirmative prayer process. It's so powerful. Again, we claim the truth of who we are. I am love. I am peace. I am wisdom. I am strength. I am faith. And when I get clarity, when I have that divine understanding of who I am, I feel empowered. I feel excited. When we're not firmly centered in prayer and love energy, we feel as if anything could knock us off our feet. We're not confident of our strength and our stability. But once we get that sense of being empowered in love, whew, I don't care if a 10-foot wave comes, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be safe. And I am going not only to claim that love for myself, but I'm going to give it to other people. I'm going to share it. I want you to feel the power of love. Yes. And she readily accepted it. Now, have you ever batted away love that was extended to you or deflected it? Oh, no, that's too much. No, I don't deserve it. Maybe we didn't say those exact words, but that was the message that we conveyed. Take the time today and every day to center yourself in prayer and love energy. How many people have called silent unity? Woohoo! Many of you. Dare I say most of you. Well, guess what? Today's a good day to try it again, to call silent unity, or to submit a prayer request online. When we are in an ongoing position of openness and receptivity to love and to prayer, it's transformative. And like I said, I could use some transformation right now because not every day has been easy. Not every day has been smooth. That can be true, and I can also change my consciousness in a way that I feel safe. There are different ways to create a sense of safety, and prayer, using affirmations, and surrounding yourself with people that love and accept you for who you are is more critical than ever. So Rumi has so many wise messages that we can learn from and incorporate into our lives. But this one is one of the most profound and has truly been life-changing for me. This is the quote: "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Could I have created barriers to love? Pondered that. I know I have. There was a time after a particularly painful relationship ending that almost my first words were, "I will never trust another human being as long as I live." Anybody said something like that? Over time, I modified it to, "I will never trust another man as long as I live." But Russ and I have been married for 18 years, so obviously I got through that as well. But we erect barriers to keep ourselves safe, but the reality is we block people out. How could you allow more love to more easily flow to you? It's like inviting those ocean waves to come up and tickle your toes, to give you the comfort and the joy that you experienced when you were a young child and you first experienced the ocean. But the reality is that we're not everybody's cup of tea, right? Like, everybody doesn't meet me and say, "Oh, wow, that is the coolest person I've ever met in my life." You know, some people don't feel that way. Not everybody is for us. And that's true for me too. Everybody I meet is not like, "Oh, let me embrace you. Will you be my new best friend?" My granddaughter is always telling me about, "She is my best friend in the whole world." Well, that changes periodically, if not daily. But if we can't be with another person, here's an idea. Can we at least not try to hurt them, but can we find a way to coexist? Now, there is a lot of modeling going on right now in our world that doesn't embrace other people who are different, who hold different worldviews. That's been true throughout human history, has it not? That if you didn't agree with me, then you were cast aside. We come to unity because we celebrate the idea that there are many paths and that we can be different, and that adds richness and value to us and to the people we interact with. And truly, the reality is that there are people more than ever that are just waiting for somebody like you to come along. Somebody like me to come along. They're just waiting for you to reach out to them, or me to reach out to them and say, "I see you. I behold the Christ in you. I love you." This little token was given to me a few weeks ago when I had dinner with a friend. Now, this friend is somebody that I hold in the highest esteem through her work, through her family, through her life. She is an inspiration. She is a treasure. And yet, what happened when we went to dinner surprised me. She had this wrapped in a beautiful gift bag with layers and layers of tissue paper and an amazing card. And she proceeded to tell me a story that one time a year, she orders an animal like this from WWF, which stands for World Wildlife Federation, Foundation. I always get it mixed up. We are involved with WWF as well. And she said she chooses somebody to give one of these to that has been an inspiration to her. And she told me this elaborate story about elephants and how when they're young, when they're babies, that they observed that they could chain them by putting something around one leg and a chain that would tie them to the ground, and it was only 18 inches. And yet, after a while, they wouldn't even try to break out of that confinement. They just didn't try to even escape. And the metaphor, which I may not be describing perfectly well, is that at a point in her life, she felt as if she had limitations and that there was not a lot that she could do that would really be a difference-making kind of life. And that I had helped her realize to not stay confined to the 18 inches. I was flabbergasted. I think my mouth was open. And there was a part of me that wanted to stop her, and there was another part of me that wished I'd recorded it because I wanted to remember what she said. It was such a generous and heartfelt story. And the point of me telling you this really is that there are people that you impact every day, whether you know it or not. And you may say, well, I live a pretty limited existence. You know, I just go to the store, I walk my dog, you know, I go to the park, I do some outreach volunteer work. I don't really impact that many people, but the reality is that you do. And you can extend that. There are people that are desperate for compassion and kindness. They want to feel seen. They want to feel important. They want to live a happier life, and they need our encouragement. And you can do that and be that. We all have unique gifts. If you believe our unity teachings, then you know that you are made in the image and likeness of the divine, that you have vast innate potential, and that your uniqueness is a gift to the world. And I know I am still moving through some of those old messages that I heard that basically translated into, you're not enough. Or that's how I interpreted it. Because I didn't have my love focus telescope then. And so, I don't know if I misheard. I know some of the message were rooted in other people's religious beliefs that were more fundamentalist. But the truth is, it's up to us to create those changes. It's up to us to see ourselves differently and to see our gifts more clearly. Because when we replenish and when we truly believe that we have a vast amount of gifts to offer other people, everything changes. It's like the snowball effect. I give love, you receive it, you turn around, you share generously with someone else, and then you extend it even further, and then you tell somebody about it, and it just, the ripple effects are vast. We need to replenish so that we can nurture other people with our full hearts, when we are firmly centered in love. We are grounded, our roots are deep. So when Russ and I were in Orlando, we did get the gift of going to Epcot one day as the guest of a friend of mine who worked at Disney for decades. And we saw many amazing, beautiful people, beautiful flowers, landscaping, all sorts of innovation. There's so many changes since the last time I was there. But I saw a character that I dearly love, both in artwork and in this new museum that has statues and figures and costumes and etc. And that wonderful being, Winnie the Pooh. I got to re-experience the wonder of Winnie. And so I found a cartoon that really spoke to me and illustrates how we can be both with ourselves and with the people that we encounter. So Pooh is talking to start, and he says, "I don't feel very much like Pooh today." And Piglet responds, there. Piglet says, "I will bring you tea and honey until you do."
Aww.
Who are you going to bring tea and honey to? Maybe it'll be you. Maybe it'll be a friend. Maybe it's a metaphorical tea. You know, we're watching a British show now, and anytime there's something happening of distress, they got to put the pot on, right? The kettle on. And it's a way that we comfort ourselves and comfort the people that are meaningful to us. It's up to you to center yourselves in the ways that are loving so that you can be that magnetizing power of love in the world. We need it. We need it for this community, Unity of Greenville. We need it for our Dallas community. We need it for our state, for our country. We need it for our world, our planet. We need to cultivate all the love that we can. So if you want to learn how to make a handy-dandy little love magnifier and focuser, I can tell you all my secrets if you'll talk to me after the service. Blessings to you. Blessings for being the love that you are and the love that you will continue to grow and share as we move forward. Namaste.